Ladies and gentlemen, this week is the one we've all been waiting for. With CCA and Ludi just over the horizon and a LAN championship qualifiers in full swing, competitive Splatoon 3 is riding high at every level of play. Howdy, I'm Nito, and welcome back to the Weekly Ink, where we'll break down all of the recent action. As always, we'll start with our weeklies, and Paddling Pool 307 saw a fairly stacked lineup show up. Top EU talent such as Cherry Wave and El Diablo played very well, but all fell to Ubers. No, not that one, but don't worry, we'll hear more about them later. Consisting of Xnor, Alex, Aaron, and Trizzy. Moving on to Swimmer Sync, number 179 saw a lighter turnout compared to the usual, but was still not lacking by any means. The event came between NFT Days and NFT Robbers Pickup and Boyo. The two played an amazing set going to a close Game 5 on Mahi Zones, but when the dust settled, NFT Days had just managed to squeak out the win, taking it all. And by that we mean another Sendo badge, not money or anything. We're not loaded like that yet, but if you want to help us, consider becoming a channel member. All your support goes straight back into prize pools and other things to help grow our community, so drop $1 if you can. Anyway, Prison Break 26 was a pretty standard addition to the event, with the event going to Boyo. Not a whole lot to say about this one, it wasn't too crazy, but don't worry, we'll hear about some other under pressure events later this week. Moving on from the weeklies, Dapple's Friday event this week was Triton Cup 97. Bringing out a clean 26 teams to shoot their shot at the top, the EU event saw their usual best try and take the win. While Vanguard didn't show up, others such as Cherry Wave, Boyo, Kanden, ASC Tenshi, and more all tried and fell to Pancake and Egg, consisting of AA, Jordan, Yoshell, and Yeti. I fear it is NA on top once again, at least if you squint really hard. For our other big Friday event, From the Ink Up was back and better than ever. Low level came out in droves, and while all 38 teams played as best as they could, nobody could stop the Phantom Squids from stealing the hearts of every team they played. Their sweep was the last surprise for the TOs, upsetting their 4th place seed with wins over number 3 seed Jam and number 1 seed Last Beach Effort. Well played, and we can't wait to see who your next target is. On to our insanely stacked weekend, SendouQ is an event we'll talk about later. We'll visit the opposite end of the skill spectrum instead. Junior Draft Chill Season 2025. Junior Draft is a tournament for brand new competitive Splatoon players. Think A rank and under, in which players sign up alone and get put into teams so they can get a feel for competitive Splatoon. This edition was won by the phenomenally named Forever Friend Zone, consisting of Shadow, Octo Gaming, I Love Brella, and Kai. Congrats on the win, and thanks again to Under Pressure for running such an important event for our community. Now it's time for the event you've all been waiting for. It's Dangerous to Go Alone number 48. As always, IDTGA had 3 great brackets which were won by Cuddly Colonialism, Encouraging Embossing, and Bloody Boolean. Not a ton else to say about this one, but it was another solid event from Off the Dial. Okay, joke's over. We have a few more events before we talk about the SendouQ shaped elephant in the room, so here's what we're looking at. For our final regular online event of the weekend, we had Flutie, the usual speed ladder event before each Ludi season to help determine seeding. This event had 190 teams show up. Yes, you heard that right, 190 teams. Ball Up Top won, only dropping 1 set to first seed Bonsai, but the point of Flutie isn't to win, it's to get practice before Ludi, and everyone who participated got to do just that. That being said, Ball Up Top technically practiced harder than everyone else, so congrats to him! Anyway, complain about your recently announced Ludi div in the comments, and we'll include the funniest complaints in the next Weekly Ink. There were 2 lands this weekend, Chi-Shoals 42 and Twin Squiddies number 5. Starting with Twin Squiddies, the smaller Minneapolis-based local is on the rise, with consistent monthly events pulling in a small handful of teams to play and have a good time. For the 5th edition, 3 teams showed up, but your team could be the next. Yes, your team watching this. If you're in the Minneapolis area and like Splatoon, consider going. The next event is on March 22nd, and it's always a party to be at a LAN. Anyway, this time around the event was won by a team of Tufa, Ink 159, Crab Eater, and Micro Mew, so congrats to y'all, and go to Twin Squiddies, or any other LAN near you if you can. There are tons popping up all over the country. Now it's time for the big one, Chi-Shoals number 32. This event was a qualifier for the Splatoon 3 LAN Championship Showdown, and as such it was stacked. 12 teams pulled up, and while others such as We Love Chief Keef and Tormenting Tentacles performed well, they all fell short to Octopuddies, consisting of Ali, Kami, Leonidas, and Clover. They joined My Little Henlo, the winners of Gatorland, in qualifying for the LAN Championships, and we're very excited to see who else gets to join them in the next few upcoming events. The next one is this weekend as of us writing this, with Booyah Bay running on March 1st, followed by H-Town Splashdown on March 8th, which will be the weekend after this video is released. Check them out, they're going to be fire events. Now, finally, for the event you've actually been waiting for, the SendouQ Season 6 finale. This invitational brought in the 12 highest placing teams from the last SendouQ season to fight for their chance to be the best of the best, the actual SendouQ champion. Of course, the teams that qualified were no slouches. Even some of the lower seeded teams, including ones such as Boyo, Honkai, Crispy, and Halcyon, are considered event-winning level threats at almost any event, including this one. EU's Big Two with Vanguard at seed number 4 and Condon at seed number 6 were both believed to have potential to make some serious upsets, along with Entropy x Black Lotus. However, Moonlight posed the biggest question of the event. Could this finally be the team's breakthrough win? However, to everyone's surprise, that's not how the event played out. Well, Black Lotus made finals, but besides that, Seeds 1 and 2, FT Win and PXG made it to the final bracket with ease. Moonlight's 0-3 loss against PXG in pool set up another team's path to the final bracket, a team that surprised most, if not all, of the audience. Healthy Diet Food Groups. If you've been around in competitive Splatoon, you'll know the name. The team is very good, but not nearly as good as some of the other teams we'll see here, like Vanguard, and their bump up meant Moonlight wouldn't make it to the final bracket. While HDFG got stopped by FT Win, they did manage to get a number 5 seed upset over Black Lotus to finish 3rd place, a feat to be proud of. Massive congrats to Healthy Diet Food Groups for making it so far. It was one of the sickest runs to date. As for the other team that made top cut, Black Lotus did manage to get their run and were lined up to play against PXG in semifinals. The set was tight with Black Lotus taking it to a game 5, but it wasn't enough to beat a team as dominant as PXG were. With FT Win's dub on the other side of the bracket, seeding had played out as it was meant to, and we moved into one of the best sets of competitive Splatoon ever played. Game 1 was on Umami Ruins, and to be quite frank, their weapon comps were no surprise. Both teams were using the core of Pencil, Splash, and Stamper, with the 4th weapon varying on both sides. In Game 1, we saw S-Blast come out for PXG and Bucket for FT Win. After a slow back and forth start, Game 1 eventually ended in a KO for PXG. Game 2 went to Flounder Heights, a map known for the unique flame styles and team comps it allows, which neither team chose to take advantage of, running the same comps as last game. The game started similarly to the first one, with a back and forth in the middle, chipping a few points for each team before PXG finally managed to get a push to end up at 37 points remaining. FT Win put up a decent counter push, but it wasn't enough to win Game 2. Game 3 went to Wahoo World. We saw our first real team comp change, with FT Win pivoting to a double sword comp to try to use the Mint Decapitator and Bubble to slow the pace of the game down. While it was a fair attempt, it didn't work out. PXG had their most dominant win yet. If FT Win wanted to win, they would have to play perfectly in the next 4 games. Game 4 went to Ship Shape, where both teams went back to their original comps. PXG started strong, but FT Win slowly worked their way back over the rest of the game and got their first win. Game 5 on Crablet Capital was even stronger for FT Win, running a faster wiper comp to bully PXG's RPD all game. Sticking with their wiper comp, Game 6 on Hammerhead went just as well as Game 5, bringing both teams to a Game 7. Game 7s always bring out the best in teams, and the Game 7 on Museum was some of the most tense Splatoon ever played. It was a constant back and forth, with neither team really getting a substantial lead over the other. But when the dust settled, FT Win failed to complete the reverse sweep, and PXG became your SendouQ Season 6 champions. Massive congrats to them, and on that note, that will be it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you same time, the same place next week.